aircraft to the end, and continued in military service with some South American countries, I believe, as late as the 1960s. Various representations of this historic and famous aircraft. Returning now, Mr. Bob Hill, our pilot today of the PBY Catalina. Give him a wave and a round of applause, please. The Avenger and Amplifier formation of U.S. Navy heritage, our Corsair, Skyraider, and Wildcat today. Construction of aircraft. And so our Avenger and our Wildcat today represent the finest of the Eastern Aircraft Division of General Motors. Having completed his landing, Mr. Johnny Mazza returning now in our FM2 Wildcat. How about a round of applause?
Been used to.
Absolutely. No need to drop an arresting hook here. So Mr. John Fuentes, our pilot today of the FG-1D Corsair. Another round of applause for Mr. John Fuentes. The great and able successor of the Corsair and the Avenger. The AD-4 Skyraider. A round of applause, please, for our pilot, Mr. Kevin Sinibaldi, veteran of the United States Navy, flying the finest of the United States Navy's blue and gold.
Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? If you were up there now, would you be thinking, shall I man back on the deck? Oh, I'll go around one more time.
I think he's got a bit more fuel to burn, so why not? I think Josh is just having a good time. Our next demonstration of aircraft will be by our contingent of European Theater American fighter aircraft.
Today, the 2014 wings over the Warbirds over the beach display wouldn't be possible were it not for the dedication of the volunteers in all areas of the museum operation, and not just on display days like this, but as you say, throughout the year. The museum open for, what, 363 days a year.
That's right. The only difference is the only days on which we are not open for business are Thanksgiving and Christmas. Such as our P-51 Mustang.
Now I know the P-51 when I was over here for the flying proms last year, I got a ride. There's a little jockey seat in the back of the Mustang.
Who pioneered the use of some fine American aircraft, including the P-40 Warhawk, just taken to the skies here in Virginia Beach.
So over in England, it rolled. We'll talk more about that later. However, it was the P-51 Mustang that turned the tide of the aerial bombing raids over occupied Europe, because the Mustang offered the RAF something that the Spitfire...
The P-40 of the Curtiss Company had its origins in a mid-1930s radial engine design, the P-36. But this plane now taking off mounts two Wright Cyclones. The thundering exhaust of the North American B-25J Mitchell Wild Cargo.
Once described by some
47 Thunderbolt. Our North American B-25 taking a little bit of slack from either her participation in the first raid from aircraft carriers against the home islands of Japan, or the novel Catch-22. Mr. Bob Hill at the controls of our 25 today. A round of applause, please. their two disparate development projects, the Allied fighters deposit bombs on ground troops and then zip back.
The 62 was designated as the Schwab, that an airborne invasion had been attempted, and although initially the Battle of Troops was a success for the Germans, they suffered such tremendous heavy losses as a result of that campaign. It was also the last time that there was a major invasion by air in the forbade any further attempt. Was considerably higher than it was in the European theatre, and this led to some delamination, which they put down initially to the humidity, but it later proved that it was poor production technique that meant that the glue was coming off. That's basically. Now this, an incredibly rare sight, as you'll appreciate. Spitfire Hurricane and the Mosquito together.
All Rolls-Royce early significant concept of what fine human indeed, and one unlikely to be heard almost anywhere else in the world today. And I'm very happy to bring you this unique experience here in Virginia Beach. I would happen again
safely, and you will need to follow the advice and instructions and commands of the many volunteers on site to ensure that your enjoyment of these aircraft is done safely.
Mr. Johnny Lund, the Royal Air Force, before later being sold to the Italians and then to the Israelis. Having finished her career in Israel, she was later recovered as a wreck from a kibbutz on the border with Lebanon. But that question mark is
on a playground.
Yes, she was being used essentially as a recruiting tool for the nascent Israeli Air Force. But that question mark comes
no,
from...
look, Jonathan, but low, fast bar.
Oh, well. I still can't get over the fact that that vertical stabilizer on the Mosquito is virtually identical to the stabilizer on the Tiger Moth and the Chipmunk, especially the Chipmunk. And if you look too at the number of the design, she's very close in the series of production aircraft built by de Havilland at that time. There's also a heritage from other designs. There was the great Comet Racer that broke the record for the flight from England to Australia back in the 1930s. Another
something over 360 miles an hour, depending on the aircraft configuration. Remember this extremely strong but very, very lightweight aircraft, so tremendous power to weight ratio from those two Merlin engines up front.
And again, we would like to thank our sponsor this afternoon, Ladd Gardner Aviation Insurance. Ladd Gardner Aviation Insurance is honored to be a part of this year's Warbirds Over the Beach, as well as sponsors of our de Havilland Mosquito. For all of your aircraft insurance needs, please visit us online at lgainsurance.com.
Now, if this is your first visit to a show at the Military Aviation Museum here at Pungo, sincerely hope that you've enjoyed the aircraft that you've seen, these very rare flying machines during the course of this afternoon. Hope that you've enjoyed also the reenactment camps.